Yeah.
Sure. I will tell you a couple of things that I was not asked to do. One, I was not asked to investigate. I wasn't asked to give a recommendation. I was more asked to gather information and be a buffer, a non-objective buffer between the individuals that wrote the survey and my report to you. So there's a lot of no. Also, when we talk about leadership, we're not talking about board leadership. I was asked to get the climate of the leadership. So I do want to make that. I want to make that clear. So I will try my best to work with this Elmo. I was a school teacher 40 years ago. So forgive me if I can't quite
microphone on in front of you.
I have a loud voice. Do you need me to use a microphone? Okay. You may not want that because I do have a very loud voice. And I'm going to kind of scroll down because people will have a tendency to want to jump to the end and read, so I'm going to pull it down. This is the introduction, and this document, y'all been provided copies of this document. This document, the original has been provided to your attorney, and so I'm going to kind of read through it. It was determined that the individuals that would respond to the climate survey were those that were in leadership roles that either had an indirect or an indirect reporting to the central office and to the superintendent. It was administered to 55 individuals, and we had 47 responses, which if anyone has ever done surveys, that's a very, very good rate. That's an 85% response rate. So the surveys were administered anonymously, and so the respondents could either keep it anonymous or they could, at the end, ask me to contact them. All right, so I think these are they have a certain validity because of the number of responses. The sub-scores range from 1 to 4. And we're going to kind of, and I'll go quickly when we get to the questions. But you'll see least favorable is 1, 4 is most favorable. It is desirable to have a score of 3 or more. 3 or greater would be positive, 2.5 to 3 would be fair. Scores below 2.5 are not positive. And here are some of the key findings. All right. There were only 2 subscales that scored over 3. And we'll go through the questions, but it's B25 and B26, which inquired whether an employee knows the procedures for filing complaints or violations of law. I think that is significant because, as you're going to see, the rest of the scores are very, very low. And I'm just going to kind of pull this off and work my way down. The lowest scores were A2 and A3. Employees did not feel there was an atmosphere of trust and mutual respect, nor did they feel comfortable raising issues or concerns. The next lowest areas, which are very poor, were A15, 16, 17, and 18. Again, I'll jump ahead. But basically, the employees do not feel that decisions made by the SISD leadership are reasonable or objective. They do not believe that leadership listens to opinions when making decisions, and it is not easy for employees to disagree with leadership decisions. Employee satisfaction with the overall administrative leadership of Sherryland was very poor, as was morale in the work group. 12 respondents, 25%, are actively looking for jobs and to leave the district. I think that's a significant number. 16 respondents identified that they've either experienced or witnessed discrimination in the workplace. 40%, 19 of the respondents, have seen or experienced retaliation, and 10 individuals, 21%, feel they've been asked to violate SISD policies, the education code, or state law. Again, significant numbers. All right, and I'm not going to go through this whole thing. It's available. You know, it'll be subject to open records. Anyone from the public can get a copy of it. But just basically, you'll see that we covered certain areas. And there's the 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I make it a little
Sure, you can zoom in or zoom out. There you go. Yeah, just turn it on here.
Which one? Okay, I want to make it go that way. Okay, so that you can kind of see as they come down how they line up. And significantly, everything under leadership is less than 3. The staff have a shared vision, 2.106. That's the average. And there you'll see the 1.7s, A2 and A3 were the very, very low. And 16, 15, 16, 17, and 18 were the other very, very, very poor. The decisions made are reasonable. The decisions are objective. The leadership listens to opinions, and it's easy to disagree. All right. And then on the next page, I'm satisfied with leadership 1.9. That's like the overall. Work expectations, again, you can just kind of see how they go. There were our 2 high ones. I know the procedure for reporting a violation of law, and I know the procedure for filing a complaint. I don't know that necessarily that's what you'll want your high scores to be in. I think it's good, but C is, I have seen or experienced the following negative workplace behaviors. And this is really the crux of a climate survey. Is that what you're looking for? And again, I'm not here to say whether this is true or not. You have to keep in mind these are the perceptions of the individuals. It's not been investigated, but this is how they perceive the climate. And a very high number, again, feel that they have seen or experienced favoritism in the workplace. Again, that's 3. That's way over there. 2.489% have experienced or seen bullying in the workplace. 2.8% have experienced or seen disrespect by leadership. 2.3% have experienced discrimination, and those were the numbers I gave you on the front. 16 have feel that they have experienced it. 19 feel they have experienced retaliation, and 10 again feel they've been asked to violate policy. The overall plans for next year, 8 people have indicated, I really think that number is 9. There may be I may need to correct that. Have indicated that they were going to leave the district or were making plans to consider leaving the district. 1.3 said they were going to keep working at the district, but they're going to look for a different job. And there's a high number, 2.74% felt that they were going to keep working in their current job. And 2.19 feel that SISD is a good place to work. Now, before I put this down, the last thing said, do you want to make a comment? And I'm going to list, there are negative comments and there are positive comments. I did not filter them. I'm giving you all of the comments that were written. So, experience has been one of unprofessionalism. These are the negative comments. I'm beginning and I changed that so that you could never identify the individual. So we don't know what year that is, but I'm beginning it was a 10+ year. I've never experienced or seen this type of harsh and hostile environment. Next person, intimidation, fear of losing jobs, stress-related health issues. I would love to continue working at Sherryland, but not under current conditions. I've personally seen deceptive hiring, reclassifying pay increases. SIC is a good place to work under different leadership. And I'm not going to read all of those, but you have a copy of the report. But again, on the other side, we have some positive comments. Leadership works in tandem to support and lead district initiatives. They give direction and provide the resources we need. I love working in the district. I'm very proud to be working under this current leadership and the school board. Change is never easy, but we're moving in a positive direction. Some people are afraid of accountability and become negative. They should leave the district. Strong leadership with good progressive plans for our community. However, there have been some hiring of team members with different ethics standards and have affected our culture. Leadership is exceptional and role model. And then I'm trying to relate to that. So that is the statistical results of the climate survey that was done. Do you have any questions?
The climate survey questions were, were previously asked like in other school districts like Austin ISD, you had said?
Right. I have been involved in these kind of climate surveys before, and really Austin has developed a really good program, and I used it for a number of these questions. They've been doing it for several years, and if you continue to do it, you'll be able to have a comparator. Y'all are a little bit at a disadvantage because you don't have anything to compare it to. But if you continue to administer it over the next couple of years, you will learn something. You know, the numbers will hopefully go in the direction that you want.
Would you say that the percentages of positivity over negativity or the negativity over positivity?
I would have to say that they are more negative if you look, if you go back and look at the numbers themselves. Overall, there was a greater negative, and that's why they're skewed toward the ones and twos. If you had more positive responses, that would be reflected in the averages. So the overall average is very poor. Okay.
In your experience in doing these kinds of surveys in a district, if you go into a district that has new leadership, and obviously with new leadership there may be some changes, what are your findings?
Change is hard. Change is hard. I can't say that this school district is individual. This survey is tailored to this individual school, and really my only comment could be change is difficult.
Thank you.
The individuals that were questioned were assistant principals on the...
Correct. They were all in leadership. There were no teachers, no clerical were provided the survey. It was just the leadership.
You had mentioned that at the tail end of the survey, there was an opportunity for someone to give you a call.
Yes, I did.
How many calls did you receive? Out of curiosity?
I received emails and calls. Well, what was asked was if you want me to contact them, and I contacted 15, 17 individuals. Some of them I interviewed. Some of them provided me additional information. But I gave everyone an opportunity. Some of those comments came from some of them came written down. Some of them came from supplemental information that was provided.
And when you mentioned the 85%, based on your experience, has some validity of some type, because there were so many people that responded via the survey itself. Having that many give you a call, is that unusual or?
No. So what would that be? I don't know math. I would probably not pass the test, but if you had 18 out of 47 contact me for additional information, who's got a calculator? 20%?
But not in a sense, but just the fact that people are willing to pick up a phone and call you, that's normal.
Sure. People, a lot of people felt that they didn't want to put things, as much as I try to assure anonymity, there's always a certain hesitation about putting something in writing. And so some individuals just wanted to either talk to me on the phone or talk to me in person because they didn't want to put information down.
And then go back to the positive and negative comments. The positive comments or negative comments, it's not like 5 people made that one comment. You're just that one person made that one comment.
Correct. That is correct. And that's why they're different. I mean, some of them may have some of the same things, but they're very different. I took those directly off the initial. I think maybe there's 3 that were provided later, but the majority of them were provided from the initial responses. And I just copied them and put them on there so you could get an idea of what the people, I think that's helpful to see what the comments are. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from her presentation? If you would like to, please stick around.
I am.
Okay,
I
thank
saw
you. That